Hi everyone, this is Dr. Yasin again with you. And today I thought I will talk about quarantine because this is the word many people have heard first time because of coronavirus or COVID-19. So I thought I'll explain a little about what quarantine means and what's the difference between quarantine and isolation. Quarantina, actually the original word, Italian word was quarantina, which means 40. And so why this word 40 was used in the 14th century in one of the cities which is in Croatia now, Dubrovnik. In that city, the administration decided that anybody coming from the Europe where there was a big outbreak of plague, so they decided that anybody coming from Europe by ship, they used to offload them and keep them in a separate center for 40 days just to make sure that they're free of disease before they are free to go back to their houses or to mingle with other people. So that's where the term quarantina started. So now the English word is quarantine. So what does quarantine mean and what is the difference between isolation and quarantine? Now the difference is quarantine means you don't have a disease, somebody who is free of disease, but there is a risk, they have been already exposed to a virus or some microorganism and they are at risk of developing the disease. They are in quarantine. Isolation means somebody has a disease already. It's a known infectious disease. They have already a disease which can be transmitted to other people, so they are put in isolation. This is the difference. The isolation is for people who already have a disease, and quarantine is for people who have been exposed to the microorganism or an infectious disease, and they have a risk of developing the disease, but at that moment they are free of disease. So why are people quarantined? They are quarantined because they may be infectious before even the symptoms start. So they would already be infecting other people or transmitting the microorganism to others. So they are quarantined in a separate place. So if they have any disease, they will appear in a time when they are already separate and they cannot they cannot transmit the microbes to others. What does this mean? If somebody doesn't have symptoms, why are they put in isolation or quarantine? Because once you have the symptoms, and now it is known that, especially in the case of corona also, that the WHO guidelines say that you may be infectious 2 days before the appearance of the symptoms. So this is the part which is very important. So somebody who starts having symptoms, they start coughing or fever or shortness of breath or something, but 2 days before that they have already been infectious and they have transmitted the microorganism to others and they have caused the infection to others. So this is the whole reason and the quarantine is useful for people who may be asymptomatic, but they are infectious, they are separated because of this reason. So this is basic information about the quarantine. So I thought I would just explain it for people who don't understand why they are put in quarantine or isolation when they don't have disease or anything. This is especially for people who have traveled from outside. Many people would have known that if you're traveling from other country or from a high-risk area, like you just come out of the plane and you are put in a center and you are not allowed to go back to your family. So this is the whole reason, because you have been in a place where there may be viruses or disease, infectious people. So you are separated immediately until you are now considered free of disease. So this was just the brief introduction of the quarantine. I hope then it helps for people who did not know it before. Assalamu alaikum, jazakallah khair.